I'm going to look for it and pull it up.
Okay.
Got a whole bunch of people already responding to the Q&A.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, we're live.
Are we live?
We're live. It just popped up.
Excellent. Let me hop back in here.
Here we go.
Okay, I'm going to shut Facebook down here.
Oh, wait, it says it's not streaming live. Oh, now it is. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Okay, is it still, can you still see me, Trish?
I can see you.
And we're still live?
And we are still live.
Yeah, awesome. We'll just wait for some people to hop on.
Yep, I see Crystal and Grace and Melissa and Robin. Welcome, ladies. Thanks for joining us. And Pat.
Hey, ladies. We're just getting our tech stuff set up here.
Just realized I got my whole funnel on my board behind me. I'll kind of turn so people don't have to see that. All right.
Welcome everyone to day 2 of our training. I am so excited to be training on this section because it's something that when I discovered this, it changed everything I did on social media. So I'm excited to share it with you tonight. And tonight we are actually going to be talking about who is your ideal business prospect, why it's important to get to know who that person is, and how that's going to help you really create your posts in a purposeful way. So we're going to get to that in a second. So what I want to do first is ask you, have you ever heard the term everything I did on social media? So I'm excited to share it with you. I don't know why I'm getting some feedback here. So what I wanted to ask you is, how many of you have heard the term personal branding? And drop me a 1 if you have in the comments. So a lot of times we're taught about personal branding when we're using social media for our network marketing business. And I'm curious to see how many of you have heard of that term. So if you can drop it in the comments, and number 1, we can see what you've heard and kind of where you're kind of at.
Grace has 1. Let's see, Pat has a 1. Robin, lots of 1s coming in.
Okay, awesome. So you've heard the term before. Now, one of the things that when I first got started on social media, this was probably 6 or 7 years ago, I was using social media for my network marketing business. And my company taught me that if I posted things about me, then that would be my personal brand. So things like lifestyle pictures, like if I was traveling or moving to a new house or things like that. General interest stuff like, you know, what I eat for dinner and my pets and my kids, that was going to create my personal brand, and it was going to be enough to attract people to me. Now, 5 or 6 years ago, that was kind of effective, not totally effective, but kind of effective. And it's because not a lot of people were doing it yet on social media. So it was something new, something creative. And if people found this stuff, it would actually create some interest and create some conversation. So drop me a number 2 if you've ever felt like posting lifestyle pictures and pictures of your grandkids and kids or your family related to your personal brand. I'm curious if you've ever done that. I certainly did. Did you do that, Trish, at any point?
I did it a ton, just like you said, because that's what we were told to do back then. And so, yeah, now what I try to do is if I do things like that, put it in my story more, not so much on my actual page.
Right. Yeah. So are we getting any 2s here?
Lots of 2s, lots of 2s. Nancy, Grace, Robin, Pat, and Lynn has joined us.
Thanks. Awesome. Hey, Lynn. Okay, so you've all kind of followed in these processes and these footsteps. So today we're going to shift that thinking to something a little bit different. Okay. And what I want you to think about, and actually maybe even post in the comments, let us know. This is a little exercise. Let us know which brands or Facebook pages or websites that you like to follow. So drop in the comments just one or two of the things that you like to follow on social media. And I'll give you an example. So I love following these two ladies, Amy Porterfield and Marie Forleo. They are amazing marketers. And I visit them because I get entertained by their content. Maria is really fun, but she also delivers some really great content that I'm able to learn even more from. So drop in the comments if there's anyone you follow on social media or any kind of brand. Curious to see what you're following.
Grace says Rachel Hollis.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. It's the only one I'm seeing so far. Lots of twos though that came in even after we talked about it. Yeah.
Okay, Rachel Hollis is awesome too. I love following her stuff. So if you think about what I just said, the reason I follow these people is because I'm interested in what they have to offer me. There's something in it for me, right? And if we go back to the way we used to post, yeah, it was about us, but there's really not anything in it for the person who's following, right? There's really no educational value. Sometimes there's entertainment value when I post pictures of Reg. Other than that, they don't get a lot from it other than kind of checking out what I'm doing, right? So that being said, in order to attract people to you, your content has to be relevant to them. It has to be valuable, and valuable in the sense that it can educate them, it can entertain them, it can give them new ideas. It's stuff that they're interested in. It can solve their problems, it can lift them up, right? That's the kind of stuff that when someone finds you, they will continue to follow you because you're helpful to them. Does that make sense, Trish?
It does. And we've got a whole bunch here too now that they came through, Ruth. Grace says Tony Robbins and Todd Durkin. Lynn says Darren Hardy and you. And Nancy says, I follow Trish. Crystal says Mel Robbins. And Melissa says Rachel Hollis, Tanya Eliza, and John and Nadia Melton.
Awesome.
And Rob's on here. He says he follows both of us.
Okay, so think about all those people that you follow, all those people that you guys have listed. Why do you follow them? You follow them because you get entertained by them, you get educated by them, you get motivated by them, right? People like Tony Robbins, they can lift you up, they can make you discover things about yourselves. And that's why you keep going back, right? So that's what we're here to teach you how to do, to become attractive to your ideal business prospect. Now, in our next series, we're going to teach you how to post. But today, we have to figure out who exactly is our ideal business prospect, right? Because until we intimately know who we want to attract, what their needs are, their wants, their desires, their struggles, we're never going to know what to post to attract them to us, right? It's kind of like Home Depot having a surplus of bathroom tiles and trying to market them to people who redesign kitchens. It's not going to work, right? So tonight is all about identifying who is your ideal business prospect that you want to attract. And I've given her a name. Her name's Kathy. You can name her whatever you want. But earlier today, I put a worksheet in this group. You'll probably, if you scroll down, you'll find it. And it's a worksheet you can actually download and create your own ideal business prospect. Now, you might be asking me, what is an ideal business prospect, Ruth? Why don't you fill everyone in, Trish, on who is an ideal business prospect?
Absolutely. So an ideal business prospect is someone who, one, you want to work with. It's someone that it's kind of like an imaginary person, but it's someone that you are going to resonate with, someone that you're looking forward to working with in your business. And whatever it may be, like for me, I, look for people maybe who have been in corporate. I have a corporate background. I look for someone in their, probably 40s to 50 age range, maybe even a little younger, but 40s age range. And I want someone who's professional. I want someone who actually really wants to build a network marketing company and is serious about building. So you want to get specific on some of these things, because you don't want just general. You don't want, oh, I just want to attract network marketers. No, you want to attract the people most of the time who are pretty similar to you, is what I have found, because that's my perfect prospect really ended up being me.
Absolutely.
Like me. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love what you said there, Trish, because, anyone can be an ideal business prospect, but I want you to think about recruiting people into your business, right? Because that's what's going to make your business grow the fastest is go-getters who duplicate and go to convention and lock arms with you. So what type of person do you want to attract? Well, the ideal person really is another network marketer, because they're already in the industry. They want to be here. They have no objections. And a lot of people are struggling. They're looking for a new company, a new leader, someone that they really resonate with and like to join. So often, Trish, I make this analogy. Back when I opened a CrossFit gym over 10 years ago, when I opened it, I had 0 clients and I had a decision to make. I could have, decided that my ideal business prospect was the guy who sits on the couch. He's 100 pounds overweight, drinks too much beer, never exercises, is really unhealthy. Or I could have targeted the gym members down the road who were already there working out but not seeing results. Well, I had a way easier time attracting people who were already working out, right? Instead of trying to drag someone off the couch and convince them that they should be doing this, right? So often an entrepreneurial person is the best kind of person to attract. So I love that you mentioned that.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, Ruth, just to add to that, I think sometimes a lot of people get caught up thinking that if they're trying to market to other network marketers, that that's not their target because those people already have a company. But as you and I both know, talking to network marketers every day, one, there are so many people who are in transition between different companies. But two, there's so many people who are not attached to their company. They got in that company for one reason or another. They've never really done anything. Their upline has quit, or their friend who joined with them quit, but they still wanted to be a part of it. So they're not really attached. They're looking for someone to work with. And so I think, like you said, someone who's already in the industry, someone who already believes in it, someone who you don't have to convince to do something is going to be your best prospect. And that has those other qualities that you're looking for.
Absolutely. So Trish, what I want to do is I'm actually going to share my screen tonight, and I'm going to pull up the worksheet. And if you guys have, if you don't have the worksheet in front of you, that's okay. You can go back later and download it. But I encourage you to grab a pen and paper and work through it with me and start giving some thought to who exactly you want to attract to you. Because what you want to do is you want to get really, really specific. And the more specific you can be, the more intentional your posts will be, the more relevant your posts will be for that person. And in fact, I have a picture of my ideal business prospect pasted on my computer screen. It's someone I cut out of a magazine who I imagine is my ideal business prospect, but she is always in my mind when I'm posting. So my content is very useful, relevant to her. It entertains her, it educates her, it allows her to get to know me. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Give me one sec. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? It'll probably come up in a second.
It's just a little bit of a delay, but it should be there in just a second, I'm thinking. Looks great, by the way.
Okay, guys, so this is what the download looks like. This is what I want you to work through, and this is your homework for tonight. Because until you know who you want to attract, what their needs, wants, desires, struggles are, how you help them, you'll never know what to post to attract them to you. So first of all, give your prospect a name. I named my ideal business prospect, that person. If they showed up at my door tomorrow and said, Ruth, I want to join your team, it would be like, yes, that's who I've been looking for. So I've named my prospect Kathy. So who is your Kathy going to be? Secondly, is your Kathy, well, obviously, is your prospect a male or a female, right? So do you want to attract a male audience or a female audience? Secondly, how old is your prospect? So give them an age, right? Because that's going to help you with your content. If your prospect is, my prospect is 52 years old, I'm not going to be talking about, new mom kind of stuff, right? Because that's not my target audience. That's not who I'm intending to resonate with. Where do they live? What country? What part of the country? Are they single? Are they in a relationship? Are they married? And again, that's going to help you design your content so that your prospect, when they see it, they resonate with it. They go, oh, that person's, they're speaking my language. They understand me. And when that's created, it creates trust. Do they have children, and how many? And here's some really the guts of it. So now you've kind of designed who your prospect is. Now you want to ask yourself questions like, when my prospect gets up in the morning, what are they anxious about? So what kind of problems do they have in their lives that you could potentially solve with your posts, right? So let's say they're anxious about their business. Their business isn't growing, and they, were hoping it would grow so that they could leave their job. Let's just say that. Well, something as simple as some kind of motivational post could help them get through their day. As simple as that. If they're anxious about, their health, then perhaps, health tips might inspire them and help them and attract them to you. So you really want to dive in and understand where that person is in their lives. What are the things that keep them awake at night? What do they lay in bed thinking about, wondering about, worrying about, that causes them not to sleep? It's those things that your content can provide value for. Your content can provide inspiration, answers, suggestions, tips that will be useful for them to get over the hump. So drop me a 3, guys, if you're following what I'm saying, if you're following the concept of providing solutions to problems for we call it your avatar. It's really your ideal business prospect. So let's see if I'm getting some 3s to make sure I don't have to dive in deeper.
I'm waiting. All right, Melissa says, I always have so much trouble with this, as it doesn't matter to me if they are married, have kids, where they live, etc. Ultimately, I'm looking for anyone who wants more out of life, to have additional income, look, feel, and live their best life, and help others do the same.
Do you
and then
want
it increase.
to respond to that, Trish?
Sure, yeah. So I think, Melissa, even though, that's kind of where you are with that, because I get it. In the beginning, I was kind of that way too, a little more general with what I'm looking for. I think that, and I agree with you, if you end up having people who come to you who are outside of those other parameters, it's not, and they're everything else that you want, they're going to be someone you want to work with. However, what I have found is when you can be more specific, like with Ruth's worksheet here, that when you're writing your posts, or if you ever do ads, or even when you're thinking about some of the content that you're doing, it will allow you to choose the language that you want to use a little better, because you can target them a little bit more, well, a lot more, but really be more specific with something that's actually going to speak to them, if that makes sense. Do you have anything to add to that, Ruth?
Yeah, I have an example to share with you to help hopefully bring some clarity to this. Because in marketing, and I'll get to the example in a minute, the more you can niche down, meaning the narrower your target, the more successful your marketing will be. As opposed to, and I did this in the beginning, trying to appeal to everyone to catch everyone.
Yep.
And some of that comes from just being in network marketing. That's the mentality we're taught in the beginning, that everyone's a prospect. So I just want to attract everyone. And in reality, the more you niche down on social media, meaning get more specific with your content, the faster that people will feel what you're posting. It will have emotion to it. It will have meaning to it. And when your prospect finds it, your ideal prospect finds it, or someone with one of those qualities that they have finds it, they're going to go, oh my gosh, this person understands what I'm going through. And I'm going to give you an example. When I started out in online marketing, I just wanted to attract any entrepreneur who wanted to join my team. That was my mindset. When I learned to niche down, I decided that I wanted to attract a woman who was 52, stuck in corporate, dying to get out. Her network marketing business was going nowhere. She was worried about, sending her kids to college and paying off debt and having money to retire. So my content became more specific to her. What ended up happening is, as she started to find my posts, she was like, oh my gosh, who is Ruth? She understands what I'm going through. I have to follow her. She gets me. As opposed to having really, really general stuff that no one really kind of feels. So the more you can niche down and get more intentional with your posts at your prospect, when a person comes that has one or more of the qualities that you list here, they're going to go, oh my gosh, that person gets me. They walked in my shoes, or they understand what I'm going through.
Yeah. And there's another example too, Ruth. I'm sure, have any of you ever seen sponsored ads? Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to that question, but if you've seen some sponsored ads from other network marketers, drop a 4 in the comments. And I ask that because there will be some posts that you'll read that, in fact, Ruth and I talk to these people all the time, that, whoever the marketer was, who put out their content, the reason that someone actually stopped scrolling and clicked on what they did is because that ad spoke to them. Like, it literally spoke to them going, oh my gosh, they know me. They know exactly what I'm looking for. And that's what's going to happen. And just like Ruth was saying with hers, when you can get that specific, those people are going to start to come out of the woodwork and start being attracted to you. Getting lots of 4s. Lots of 4s.
Awesome. Okay, guys, so let's move through this. So we talked a little bit about understanding your ideal business prospects struggles, the things that keep them up at night. Some other things you can think about: do they work or do they stay at home? What is their biggest fear in their career? Is it getting outsourced? Is it, if they're in retail, is it getting retail shut down? Is it, I've had a lot of friends in their late 50s get their jobs get cut. And then it's like, where do you go? So what is their greatest fear in their career? Because that's a pain point that, again, you can provide a solution to, right? With your content. What's the greatest personal fear in their life? Is it health? Is it financial? Is it family? What's their greatest fear? That you can start putting out content, either give them tips, help them solve it, help inspire them to get over the hump, right? If money were no object in 3 years, how would your perfect prospect describe themselves? So where are they at in their lives? What are their dreams? What are their desires? What do they want from life, right? Is it travel? Is it more time with family? Is it more financial resources to donate to charities? So where are they in their lives and their dreams? Where are they living? What do they do? How's their financial situation? How is their health? How do they feel about their lives? And then list your prospects' hobbies, their passions, because that's how we're going to be able to find where your prospects hang out on the internet. And we'll have a whole separate training on how to use Facebook Insights to find your perfect prospect and where they're hanging out so that you have an opportunity to connect with them. Another thing is, as your prospects scroll through social media, who are they following? What are their interests? Who are the celebrities, the influencers? What kind of books do they read? What do they dream about when they climb in bed at night? Just like, what do they worry about? So your homework is to answer this question. Therefore, to add value to the lives of my marketing, of my prospects, my marketing posts are created for them. And what are they about? So are you going to be there to inspire them? Are you going to be there to motivate them? Are you going to be there to give them tips to help them over the struggles that you now know about? Are you there to educate them? Are you there to make them laugh, right? So these are some of the things that when you really understand who your ideal prospect is, then your posts can become much, much more intentional and relevant for them. And I think tomorrow Rob is doing a really great training on what kind of posts to put in front of your prospects based on, your individual sheets, to start attracting them to you.
Absolutely. And, I wanted to go back to Melissa's question before because she added something else and and then I saw Rob's response too. And Melissa had said, I get that in that example, but in location, married or not, etc., I don't get why that matters as long as they, fit the other criteria. Well, I think, Melissa, one of the important things to remember is, like Ruth said, it's one or more, right? They don't have to fit all of them. But Ruth and I meeting is a perfect example of how she had her avatar dialed in, because we actually met on social media about 2.5 years ago on Facebook. And I recently pulled up our original messenger chat where we started talking. And what's interesting is, going back to that chat, is we were both CPAs. We both have daughters. We both did triathlons and Ironman races. And so, but there are other things about our lives that are different. But you've got 3 things right there that really stood out. And I know we've got lots of other things in common as well. But it just goes to show you that when you can really dial in on certain things like that and get more specific, you are going to find, that perfect prospect. And it took Ruth and I about 2.5 years before we actually ever partnered up in business. So that's to show you too how people continue to follow and can you continue to watch everything that you're doing. But what I can tell you is that we're like, she's the partner I've been dreaming about and praying about for a long time. And so it's really cool to know that you've got the ability to really attract that person if you can get specific and, you know, fill out a sheet like this and really understand it and start marketing that way.
So guys, post in the comments if you have any questions about this, any other questions, need clarity on anything, and we'll take a peek. There's a little bit of a delay.
All right.
Are you seeing anything, Trish?
Not yet. I'm sure it'll start popping up in just a minute. And but I think this worksheet is great. I love how you've got it laid out. I think the questions are very specific, and I love how, you know I've seen your writing, and stuff. It definitely, I can tell that you've got this taped up. All right, here we go. Let's see here. Grace says, great info, thank you, and I'm eager to get specific.
Awesome, Grace. Okay, guys, so that is our training for tonight. Your homework, and after coaching probably 2,000 people in marketing in the last 2.5 years, I have to tell you that this exercise is the foundation of your marketing. Because if you can nail this down and your content becomes relevant, your marketing will be good. If you don't nail this down, you're going to be building your marketing on a foundation that is not strong. And your marketing will be much too general, and it'll end up probably not attracting either the right kind of people, or my case was it didn't attract any people at all. So I can't stress how important this exercise is in getting clarity, because this is what real companies do and real businesses do. They get complete clarity on who they're marketing to, and then they market to, or in our case, post for their pain points, the solutions, the inspiration. And it's foundational to being on social media in 2019 if you're going to do it the right way. So I encourage you to get your homework done so that tomorrow's lesson is going to be super relevant for you.
Absolutely. And Robin just put in here, I need to go ahead, and now I know if who I create, am I right? I'm not sure. I think there may have been a typo there. Oh, Nancy wants to know, should they screenshot this homework?
Yes.
So
I'd love to see it.
Yes, please do. And if you're comfortable with it, you can post it in the comments. If you're not, then, if you want to send it to us, that's okay too. But I would love to see that you do it. And then Rob said it's also the hardest, which, wouldn't you agree, Ruth? This is probably one of the things that people, they skip it a little bit. They skim it and don't really go back. And like you said, it's one of the most important pieces.
I think that's so valid, Trish, because I know when I did it, I had fear. I had fear doing this because I was afraid I was picking the wrong person.
Yeah.
Right? And there is no wrong person. I was fearful that by niching down, I was going to miss out. And I had a lot of fear, so I kept putting it off, or I would give it a half effort and, just kind of do it. But it wasn't until I really nailed it down and got serious about it and committed to it that everything started to change. So it truly is foundational.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Ruth. That was awesome.
Awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you again tomorrow.
And real quickly, actually, Ruth, Pat just asked, where can we get this? Hey, Pat, just so you know, Ruth did a live earlier, and the link is in there, but Ruth, we'll go ahead and drop the link in the comments so that you guys can pull it out of there too.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
So